Evening, this lecture בעזרת השם לרפואת לוליטה בת גיסטמן להצלחה לרפואת משפחת שימונוב, לעילוי נשמת אברהם מסעוד בן חיה עיישה, אברהם יצחק בן יהודה, אלקה בת ליבה, דגנית רבקה בת דליה, דוד בן מרים, סימנטוב משה בן תמרה. One reminder, now I have two websites, divineinformation.com, as you probably all know, and rabbimizrachi.org. It's much more advanced. You may like it better. It's good to have two. If one has problems, then you have a backup. Plus, don't forget to download my app. I don't know why people keep asking me if there's a lecture tonight. Just open the app, click on events, shows you if there's a lecture or no. Rabbi Yosef Mizrachi. Download the app. Everyone who has smartphone have apps. Yeah. It's a free app. It takes a second to download. Forget about that. But in general, use the app to find out if there's a lecture or not. Okay? And also the app, you can watch the live lecture on the app. You don't need YouTube. I don't know why you complain about the YouTube commercials. Who told you to go to YouTube? We got you a free app. You click on live and you watch the lecture live. You want to watch it the next day, it's still on a repeat. You watch it and you can do it 2 times speed, 1.5 times, 1 1/4. You have a lot of options, better than YouTube no matter how you look at it. I don't know why people insist to go through YouTube. Why give the lefties any merit? Do they deserve a prize for destroying the world? Use the kosher app. There's a tzaddik made at Yona from LA, real tzaddik. He check it every day, maintain it, full of enthusiasm. Wants to bring people to hear Torah, to listen to Torah. Better. The app is Rabbi Yosef Mizrachi. So, after all of that, yesterday in Queens, we were stuck with a little dilemma. I spoke about the words of the Chafetz Chaim, and I asked, Chafetz Chaim said that when we speak about parshat Mishpatim, Chafetz Chaim says that to stealing is a horrible sin. Even though in the Torah it doesn't have a death penalty, like when you break Shabbat, or when you're an idol worshiper, or forbidden intimacies, and homosexuality, and all of that has death penalty. And many of those sins also have a cut for the soul. When it comes to stealing, don't have a death penalty for Jews. The Gentiles do have death penalty. And you don't have a cut for the soul. What is the punishment of stealing? You got to pay double. You stole 1,000, you got to pay 2,000. If you were caught, if you came one day and returned what you stole and confess and apologize, you don't even have to pay double. So, usually based on the punishment, we know how severe is the sin. For instance, if you compare breaking Shabbat to murdering, if you ask anyone in the world today, what's worse? To break Shabbat, to light fire on Shabbat, or to just shoot someone in the head? Probably you won't find not even 1% of the people that will say that to break Shabbat is worse than to murder. Everyone will agree, Jews, non-Jews, that to murder is much worse than to break Shabbat. What's the truth? The other way around. To break Shabbat is worse than a murder. To break Shabbat has a permanent cut for the soul from the afterlife. If you murder someone, you don't have a permanent cut. It's a horrible sin. It's a death penalty. Both of them are death penalty. But even when you get a death penalty, there are different levels of death. Stoning is the worst one. Then comes burning. Then after that comes the... No, skila is the worst one. Skila is the first one. Then comes burning. Then you have the sword, and then you have chenek. Choking and sword. So that's not on the top of the severity. Stoning and burning comes before the sword. So you see that the punishment of a murderer is much less than a punishment of Mechalel Shabbat. Also, when someone is Shomer Shabbat and he just murdered someone, he still remain a Jew. As a wicked Jew, you know, Oy lanu is such a Jew, but he's still a Jew. When someone breaks Shabbat, he loses Jewish identity. He's losing his Jewish identity. But in case you're not convinced, I'll give you the punchline, and we'll move on. The halacha in Shulchan Aruch, it says, you don't bury wicked with righteous. You have to be very careful. You don't mix between righteous and wicked in a cemetery. You have a square, a section A, section B, section C. If you decided that section A, you will bury righteous people who keep Shabbat, learn Torah, make sure it's all this kind of people. If you bury among the Mechalel Shabbat, you will have to reopen the grave, take him out and make another funeral and move him to a different grave. You cannot keep him there. Even if you made a mistake, you must open the grave and remove him. A very big embarrassment. People came, funeral, now you tell them, we're sorry, we bury him in the wrong section. We have to move him to where the goyim are, the Mechalelei Shabbat. So, the Gemara say, and this is the halacha, that's the law, the official law, you don't mix between righteous and wicked in a cemetery. Why? A part of the soul remains in a grave forever until the resurrection of the dead. It's not fair for the righteous people that they will have such a wicked neighbor next to them for hundreds or for thousands of years until the resurrection of the dead. It's not permitted to do such thing. Now comes the Gemara, and also it's also halacha. You do not mix between big wicked people and small wicked people. What does it mean? Even among wicked people, there are different levels. Not everyone is equal. So they give an example. You have a section of murderers. In the old days, everyone was Shomer Shabbat. Until 220 years ago, it was almost impossible to find a Jew that doesn't keep Shabbat. Almost impossible. All over the world. So everyone was Shomer Shabbat. What happened if two people had a fight? Reuven and Shimon, fist fight, this, I don't know, he broke a glass on his head and killed him. Boom, he fell and died. Or he pushed him from a building or something. It was in a moment of anger. Wow, what have I done? What have you done? You just murdered a person. When he dies, it was Shomer Shabbat. You bury him in a section of murderers. Section. There are murderers over there. You bury him, that's all murderers. Murderer 1, 2, 3. What happened if by mistake they buried Mechalel Shabbat, that is not a murderer, Mechalel Shabbat, among the murderers? You have a section of 20 graves, 19 of them are murderers that kept Shabbat, and by mistake they put one Mechalel Shabbat that is not a murderer. You have to open the grave, remove the Mechalel Shabbat out of there, and move him to a section of Mechalelei Shabbat, because it's an insult to the murderers that you buried among them Mechalel Shabbat. I think that seals the argument, that you understand that to be Mechalel Shabbat according to Hashem, not according to the newspaper and according to the liberals and to the lefties and to the goyim. According to Hashem, to break Shabbat, you are a bigger criminal than a murderer. As much as you hate it, accept it. It's a divine rule. It is what it is. So now, going back to what I spoke, Chafetz Chaim says, if someone is a thief, it's a very big sin, very big sin. Why it's a very big sin? It's not even in a category of idol worshipping. It's not in a category of Mechalelei Shabbat. It's not in a category of forbidden sex crimes. It doesn't have a death penalty. And it doesn't have a permanent cut. And it's very easy to fix. Come after 5 years that you stole the money to the person. Here is your money back. I apologize. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I was stressed. I was very poor. I had to feed my children. I don't know. The Yetzer Hara got into my head. Drove me crazy. Now I did tshuva. I'm so ashamed. Here, take your money back. Forgive me. Okay, I forgive you, and it's over. That's it. It's righteous. It's removed from his file. Removed completely. Once the person that was, he was the victim of the stealing, once he forgave and he got the money back, that's it. The case is closed. However, there is something in stealing that it's really worse than even Chilul Shabbat and any other crime. What's the worst? If a person dies when he still have a stolen good in his hand, stole from A, from B, from C, money, items, all kinds of things, didn't pay the workers, stole from the neighbors, and he died. He didn't return it, he didn't apologize, he didn't regret, nothing. If you take him to hell, give him, let's say, 200 years in hell for that. He stole 50 items, he caused people agony, pain, aggravation, I don't know, whatever you cause, now you have to be 200 years in hell. It doesn't erase the crime. There's no way to erase stealing in hell. Many other sins, you go to hell, it cleans the soul. It's very painful, but it cleans the soul. Eventually the soul gets clean and it moves to heaven if you have some merits, if you were keeping mitzvot. You don't have any mitzvot, you're naked, you have nothing. You got clean, but you have no merit. But if you want to take a thief and put him in hell and you're going to clean his soul, there's no way to clean it. Why? Because he still has in his position, or in his house, or by his wife, or by his son, the stolen good was never returned to the original owner. There is no way to fix such a thing in hell. No way. So what do you have to do? You have to come back in reincarnation. He has to be reincarnated again in a new body of a baby, grow up in some areas, and then Hashem is going to make a match between him and the person that he stole from. He also died, that person. And he was reborn. Reuven and Shimon in first life, Reuven stole from Shimon. Both of them died. Now they come back. Now Reuven is Shimon and Shimon is Reuven. They're born two babies. Reuven now is named Shimon. Shimon is named Reuven. In the first life, Reuven stole from Shimon. Now, technically, Reuven should have given back to Shimon. But now Reuven is Shimon. So Shimon is giving to Shimon. Do you understand what happened here? Not Shimon became Reuven. But it doesn't matter. I'll make it easier for you. A stole from B. They both died. A and B came back as X and Y. That's it. X stole from Y in previous life when his name was A. And Y, his name was B. Now X has to pay Y. He cannot say, oh, I'm a different person. A was 6 feet tall. I'm only 5'5". I'm dark. He was blonde. We're not the same. He was from New York. I'm from Florida. Enough with the nonsense. Nobody cares about the box. The box of the neshama, nobody cares about. It's the actual neshama that needs the correction, not the body. The body is going to be eaten by the worms anyway. There is a verse about it. When people ask, how do you know there is a hell? Where does it say? It's a clear verse. It says, כי תולעתם לא תמות ואשם לא תכבה. The worms that eats the body will not die. Will actually get fatter by the day. And the fire will not cease. There will be fire and burning the people there in the next world. It's a clear verse. The Reshaim will become ashes in hell. It's a clear verse. People never read the Tanakh, and they come, they have questions. Where does it say there's such thing hell? Where does it say eternal punishment? Where does it say resurrection of the dead? Where does it say it's going to be Mashiach? It's all clear verses. Clear verses. It takes a second to see it. You never read it. You never open a book. Then you ask a lot of questions. Why you never read? Anyway, it's not the topic now. So you have to be reincarnated in order for you to pay back what you stole. It's a burden. It's a disaster. Because assuming you were Shomer Shabbat, learning Torah, doing a lot of chesed, and really going to shul 3 times a day, your wife was modest, Your kids were in good yeshivot. Everything was great about you. Besides the fact that you were stealing here and there. Cheating, stealing in a business. Unfortunately, this is a common problem today. Just for that stealing, you have to be reincarnated again and be a slave of someone in the next life. Hashem will design that he will be your boss and you will be servant. You'll be a slave. For 20 years in the business, you'll take advantage on you, cheat you on a commission, steal from you behind your back, until the verdict will be reached. Whatever he stole in past life, now when he took back what's his, either he will die or you will die, and the tikkun will be ending. But the Chafetz Chaim did not concentrate on the reincarnation aspect. He talks about something else. Listen how clever it is. But we had yesterday a big question about it. But today I came ready. Yesterday it just came to my mind with no preparation. I had to go and look into it today to make sure how can it be. After all, when the Chafetz Chaim says something and it look like it doesn't make sense to you, then you know who's wrong. It's not him. Now you have to check why I'm wrong. All right? You got to put your ego down and understand that you're a little piece of dirt under his toes. And now you're going to go and try to break your head to understand what am I missing here. And that's what I've done today. Chafetz Chaim says, the first thing in parshat Mishpatim is the laws of a Jewish slave. כי תקנה עבד עברי. You bought a Jewish servant. 6 years he's going to serve you, and in the 7th year you have to let him go. He's going free. If he came single, wasn't married, he would live single. If he came with his wife and children, he would live with them. If he came single, you are entitled to give him a female servant, shifcha canaanit, goya, non-Jewish, and he can have kids with her. And the kids, when the servant finishes term, he is going free, but the kids and the female servant remain slaves forever. Why? They are following the mother, not him. He cannot claim, it's my children, they have to come with their father. No. I only matched you to this goya for you to produce another 5-6 servants for me. I have construction sites, farms, I need workers. Kadima, make me servants. Chafetz Chaim say, come and learn. To be a thief, it's a disgrace. You don't have the money to pay back, so they sell you like a donkey. They sell you to be a slave, even though they don't put the Jewish servant on a rock like they put the other slave, but still, it's a big embarrassment. Sometimes he surrenders to life. He comes and says, I cannot pay my debt, I cannot make a living, take me as a servant, as a slave. But sometimes it's by force. Do you have the money to pay for what you stole? No. Kadima, you're becoming a servant. Now listen carefully. While he's a servant, Chafetz Chaim say, Hashem say you're allowed to let him have intimacy with the goya. It's a sin from the Oraita. The Torah says, Lo yekadesh b'bnei Israel. Meaning a man cannot have intimacy with a woman unless she's his wife. And goya can never be his wife. Jews can never marry goyim. So therefore, to have intimacy with the goya is for the Oraita. It's worse than eating pork. According to the Zohar, it's the worst sin. The worst. Spiritually, very big things about it. קשורה בו בעולם הבא, קשורה בו ככלב. Chazal explain Yosef fought very much with his evil inclination not to have intimacy with the wife of Potiphar, because he knew that after that she will be tied to him in the next world forever. This is Kabbalistic things. But one way or the other, all of a sudden, a drastic change in the Torah ideology. On one hand, the Torah says, be very careful not to have intimacy with a non-Jewish woman. Needless to say, to marry her. That's a war sin. And now all of a sudden say, oh, you're a thief? You'll get what you deserve. You're going to have to go with her and have kids, and they're not going to be yours. So far, everything is clear. That's what we spoke about yesterday. You can watch the lecture if you want. Now comes the question. We have a rule that every goya, evet canaani or shifcha canaanit, male and female, when you buy them to be slaves, immediately you convert them. They convert. So we asked yesterday, if she converted, that means she's Jewish. If she has kids, the kids are Jewish. They should be his kids. How do you tell him, you cannot take them. They stay here to be slaves and they're going to be forever. Why? Because they're not Jewish slaves. Jewish slaves, the Torah limit their verdict to 6 years. 7 years he has to go free, unless he voluntarily wants to stay a slave. Okay, then you take him to the mezuzah, to the entrance, by the door, and you have a special tool. You make a mark on his ear. All right, he said, I love my master. I love his life. I should serve him for the rest of my life. Okay, you want it? You get it. But by the goyim, they can never be free, unless the master gave them some kind of a punch, broke their tooth, poked their eye, make them deaf. The Mishnah brings 24 organs that if you damage them, it's a serious damage. Your punishment will be that you lost your slave. So technically, if Evet Kanaani wants to go free, he has to get on a nerve on his Jewish master. If his Jewish master comes from one country that the people have very hot temper over there, it doesn't take that much. It's enough that he's gonna smile to him when he gets angry. The punch will come. Bo yavo. Boom. Once the punch comes, he goes free. So you got the point. So the question is, what the Chafetz Chaim say? What kind of a punishment is that? The Chafetz Chaim said, look what happened to you. Because you are a thief, and because you don't pay back your debt, you became a slave. And now when you became a slave, they let you marry a goya. And you have kids, and the kids are goyim, and the kids will remain slaves, and you can't even enjoy them. You bring them to the world, and they say, good, you have no rights. So now the Chafetz Chaim conclude, look how horrible it is to be a thief. You hear the question or no? The answer, there's no question. It's just simple ignorance. Once you learn all the details, you see there's no question. Most of the questions, by the way, it's only because of ignorance. 90% of the questions I heard over the years are all a matter of ignorance. Sometimes there's complicated questions, meaning it's really hard to find the answer to it. Even if you know a lot, it's questionable. You can see even the biggest rabbis in history had big arguments about that topic. One says it's like this, one says it's like this. How can it be like this? How can it be like that? No matter how you learn it, you stay confused. We're not talking about such a case here. Here it's a simple case of 1 or 2 details that were missing yesterday. When you take a goy and a goya and you convert them, the conversion is not full conversion. It's semi-conversion. They are Jewish in one way, but they are also not. What does it mean? It means that if you have children with them, the children are not Jewish. So when you take the Jewish slave and you give him a shifcha canaanit that had a conditional conversion, because you need to be a slave, we have to convert you. But this conversion is not a regular conversion that a non-Jewish woman become Jewish and she can marry a Jew and she can have kids and the kids are Jewish and everything is fine with her. No. It's a different, we have a unique conversion over here. That Hashem say, it's conversion for the sake of slavery. One other detail that we were missing yesterday is there is one more detail about Eved Ivri, a Jewish slave. Usually the rule is that every male slave that become a slave is patur mimitzvot aseh shazman grama. Patur, you like it, it's a good topic. Eved, a male slave, once you convert him, right? You take Ahmed, Eved Canaani, Ahmed, we're converting you for you to be a slave. But you're an Eved Canaani, you're still Canaani, from Canaan. Okay? So what mitzvot do I keep? Only mitzvot of women. You don't have to keep mitzvot of a man. You don't have to sit in yeshiva from morning to night. You don't put tefillin. You don't have mitzvot that are limited to specific time. Why? Because you are under the supervision of your master. You have to serve him. You can, if he will have to, I have to go to minyan. So an hour it doesn't work. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to sit. I have chevruta, 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the, when is he going to work? So it's like a woman. A woman take care of the kids, take care of the house, take care of the farm. That's why Hashem told the women, you dismiss from tefillah b'minyan, you dismiss from tefillin, you dismiss from many, limud Torah, with chevruta. There's many discounts that they got in order for them to be able to function with their obligation. Okay. However, a Jewish male, it's not like a non-Jewish male. It's not like Eved Canaani. He's still chayav b'chol ha-mitzvot. And that's an important detail to know. It's sometimes getting confused. You're getting confused between the laws of Eved Canaani and Eved Ivri. Eved Ivri must continue to put tefillin. You know, you cannot say, you became a woman now. You became a slave. You're like a woman. You keep only what women have to keep. You don't have to go to minyan, you don't have to put tefillin, you don't have to learn Torah. No. Some mitzvot, we have to look into it more. I saw that it's written, פותרים אותו מכמה מצוות. אבל in general, the general rule is, just because he's poor and he couldn't pay back what he stole, you do not cut his obligation to keep Torah and mitzvot. Still obligated for life. Therefore, it's not such a bargain to hire a Jewish slave. Why? First, you have to feed him like you feed yourself. If you sleep in a comfortable mattress, you must give him the same mattress. You have to give him rights. You cannot give him dirty jobs to do. It's your brother. Someone from a different nation is not your brother. You owe him nothing. It's not from your nation. Here is your brother. You cannot tell him clean the bathroom, do these jobs that you give to other slaves. He is a royal slave. So it's a very big headache. I have to feed him well, I have to give him rights, and when he leaves, I have to give him a pension. What is this? You understand? By the way, let's say a man is a mamzer. You know what mamzer is? Illegitimate boy. What does it mean, illegitimate boy? Not every illegitimate boy is a mamzer. For instance, if a boyfriend and a girlfriend had a baby without marriage, Itzik and Miriam, not married, she became pregnant. Baruch Hashem, they kind enough not to murder the baby, like many other women did. So there's no abortion. So the baby is born. It's a big shame. They never got married. Today it's no shame. Nobody is embarrassed of anything anymore. It used to be a shame. When I was a child, if someone had a kid without marriage, everyone was shocked. What? You're not married and you had a child? No one would like it. The world is totally messed up now. So some people, lechatchila, with no shame, no, we don't want to get married. We don't believe in it. We just wanted to have a child. This child is an illegitimate child. He came without marriage, but it's not mamzer. If he wants to marry a regular Jewish girl, he can marry her. It's allowed. Mamzer means a married woman cheated on her husband and conceived from another man that is not her husband. Now a baby was born. This baby has a mark on him. Forbidden to marry any Jew besides a mamzeret. A girl that is like him. JC is not mamzer because his mother cheated with a goy. If a Jewish woman cheated with a goy, although it's a horrible crime with a very big punishment, but it's not, their kid is not a mamzer. It's only a mamzer if she cheated with a Jew. And she and the Jew has a death penalty. The married woman, mot yumtu anoef ve'anoefet, it's written in the Torah. Mot yumtu, both of them. So JC is almost a mamzer, because his mother cheated with a Roman soldier. You understand? So, therefore, it wasn't a mamzer. That's why they accepted him to the yeshiva of Rabbi Yoshua ben Farchia. And then when he was a teenager, the brilliant JC walks on the street with his holy rabbi, and he said to him, Rabbi, look at the pretty women over there. Rabbi said, where? Right there. The rabbi said to him, you're not embarrassed? From all the people in the world, you showed the pretty women on the street to your own Rosh Yeshiva? You cannot learn in my yeshiva. You're the modest guy. What is the whole Torah you're learning and you stay like this? You kicked out. I kicked him out. Later he regretted what he have done. He came back to ask for forgiveness. The problem was that the rabbi was in the middle of praying, middle of Kriyat Shema. You're not allowed to hint or to communicate with anyone in the middle of Shema Yisrael. You have to be very serious with full devotion and intention. So JC thought that the rabbi is called to him. He turned his back to him. He said, you know what? That's it, I'm done. And he started to collect all the homeless people, some Jews, some goyim, and became their guru. After all, he knew some Torah. They didn't know anything. They didn't even know how to read and write. People who were in the street, they didn't go to yeshiva. And then he died. The Romans killed him. But he never started Christianity, like some people think. It was way after he died, 3 or 4 generations after. The people that started to tell stories about him never actually saw him in reality. Never. It's like the grandfather of my father. Did I see him? No. And remember, there was no pictures in those days. That's why all these fake pictures that you see JC with long hair like a woman, someone made it up. That someone was very stupid. Because 2,000 years ago, a Bachur Yeshiva would have hair like this. Even today, you cannot find in one yeshiva in the world a guy that have hair like a woman. It's against the Torah. The Torah said that you cannot behave like a woman cannot behave like a man, you cannot wear clothes of a woman cannot wear clothes of a man. So that statue in Brazil, that JC have long hair like some kind of a rock and roll star, it's imagination of some idiot that made it up. You know, for sure it didn't look like that. One way or the other, he died, he didn't start Christianity. Not only he didn't start Christianity, even though he did some things that he should have not done, one good thing he did say. It's written in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 17 until verse 19. That's the source. Book of Matthew is one of the 4 evangelists. You have Mark, John, Luke, and Matthew. Matthew 5, verse 17. Remember, it's written over there that JC say, I did not come to contradict the Torah. I came to explain and fulfill more. No one has permission to contradict one word of the Torah, not even one letter. If anyone will change one mitzvah of the Torah, one commandment, or will change one word of the Torah, and will teach differently to others, he will be cursed by the kingdom of heaven. In one sentence, he already destroyed Christianity before it even started 70 years after he died. In one sentence, it's already putting an X, big X on Islam, on Christianity, and all these fake religions. You get it or no? You say anyone who changed, they don't keep one mitzvah, the Christian. They don't keep Shabbat. They don't eat kosher. They don't keep anything. They eat pork. Many of the things that they do. So according to him, if you want to be a righteous Christian, you have to keep all the commandments of the Torah. Right there, you don't have one righteous Christian in the whole world. Right there. One of the laws of the Torah, you cannot be an idol worshipper. Mean you cannot be a servant of JC, because that's idol worshipping. So he killed you from all directions if you're clever. That's the end of Christianity right there before it started. Before it started, it's over. So going back to what we explained, what happened now if you have an illegitimate mamzer? Mamzer comes from a married woman who cheated on her husband, or from a brother and sister that had intimacy. Could be rape also. A baby was born, it's mamzer. So there are a group of crimes in the Torah that can create a mamzer. Boyfriend and girlfriend that have a child, the child is not a mamzer. It's also illegitimate because it didn't come in a legit way. Because there was no marriage. It came through a sin. But he is permitted to marry to a regular kosher Jewish girl. Also, if you have a Jewish woman who married a goy, the marriage is nothing. A Jewish woman cannot marry a non-Jew. But let's say she became pregnant now, and a baby was born, it's 100% a Jew. It's illegitimate. He came from forbidden relationship. This legitimacy problem does not make the baby a mamzer that is unable to marry. You can do tshuva. I know I have many of them that are sitting in yeshivot. The mother is Jewish and the father is a goy. Few of them, the father is an Arab, terrorist in the Palestinian territories. And now, the problem is that the Muslims, according to their nonsense, is the religion follow the father, which is very stupid because most of the time you don't even know who the father is. How do you know who the father is? A woman comes to the hospital to give birth. Can you prove who the father is? No one can prove such thing. Today we have DNA, you need to perform DNA. But back in time, when Islam started, it just shows you how foolish this religion can be. It can definitely not be divine. Because how can you determine if the person is Jewish or Muslim or Christian based on the father when you never know who the father is for sure? So every human being in the world will have a question mark on him every second of his life. There will never be a way to prove. How can it be? God would do such a stupid thing. You get it or no? The mother, you see where the baby came from. You cannot hide it. She gives birth, you see where it came from. You know who the mother is, but you never know who the father is. There's no way to know. She can say this the father. Sometimes she doesn't even know who the father is. So anyway, going back to what I started to say. So today, if you have a mamzer and a mamzeret, they get married. They're allowed. Also, mamzer can marry a convert. A woman that was born not Jewish, converted to Judaism. She's keeping mitzvot now. She's a regular Jew. She can marry a mamzer. The question now is, if a mamzer had intimacy with a regular Jewish girl, not mamzeret, and a child was born, what is this child? What's his status? Mamzer. It's enough that one of the parents is mamzer, the children are mamzerim, father or the mother. If that's the case, they will continue to multiply mamzerim forever. Right? You have a child that is a mamzer, he will get married one day to someone, he won't say that he's a mamzer. All his kids will be mamzerim, and all their kids will be mamzerim. Could be millions of mamzerim.
The second one marries a mamzer-let, then their kids are not mamzer.
Why? Mamzer and mamzeret, no matter who is mamzer, the father or the mother or both, the kids will be mamzerim.
They can marry each other.
If mamzer and has baby with mamzeret, that baby is a mamzer?
Of course, needless to say. If one of the parents is mamzer, the kid is mamzer. If both of them are mamzerim, isn't it needless to say? Kal vachomer. However, who knows there's one way to stop that problem. Very good. Shifcha canaanit. You take a non-Jewish woman, you tell them, we want you to be a female slave. Shifcha canaanit. We convert her, that semi-conversion that we talked about. And the mamzer can marry her. No, then after that you release her. Once you release her, and you have a child with her, the child is not a mamzer anymore. That's a very, very interesting trick. Now the question is, can we do it today or no? Come to Christine. Christine, we have a proposal for you. No slavery, there's no such a law. It's reality that slavery stopped in a modern world. It's continuing in other places. You have slavery in other countries. But democratic countries, there's no slavery. But there's no forbidden law against slavery. Technically, if some goya wanted to be a shifcha canaani today, she could. What stops you from that? There is any law throughout history, one day they made up a law, there's no more slavery? No. It just stopped by itself. No one will do it today. I'm talking hypothetically speaking. It's the same thing like men used to marry more than one woman. It's still allowed today from the Torah. The Ashkenazim, they have a restriction by Rabbeinu Gershom Maor HaGola. He made 1,010 years ago a decree. The European man, Jewish man, cannot marry more than one woman. Why? He was very afraid of the Christians. They were very violent in those days. I want to remind you the Spanish Inquisition and Portuguese. The Christian used to be very violent like the Muslim. The Crusades. They used to go to places and murder people and rape them and cut their heads off and do horrible things just like the Muslim did in Israel now on October 7. Christians used to be very violent. But at one point they realized the violence brought them nothing. They did not succeed, so they changed their strategy. They started to hunt with their mouth and money. Missionaries. Come, pray the Lord. He's taking all your suffering. Don't worry. How much you need for rent? We are here for you. Come on Sunday. We'll take care of it. You need mezuzot? We get it for you. Of course. We are so Jewish. That's how they hunt people. No more killing, no more torturing, no more hanging people, no more burning pregnant women, opening their stomach, pulling the baby out in the middle of town. They stopped doing it, the Christians. Now the Muslim took their place. That's what's happening right now. So, in a time 1,000 years ago, the Christian used to go crazy. When they see a Jew married to 2 or 3 women and they have only one, it was against their religion. Christianity doesn't allow it. And against the law of their land. Just like now, you're going to see a Muslim in Brooklyn marry four women. Americans will get angry about it. What's going on? It's against the law of America. You're not allowed. Actually, if a man marries more than one woman in America, he goes to jail. It's actually a serious crime.
It's called bigamy.
Bigamy, I know. So, what are you going to tell this Muslim? Ahmed, why you marry 5 girls? Why not? I'm a Muslim, but you live in America. America. Soon America will become Gaza. We're taking over the world. You're not going to tell us what to do. What are you going to do? So the government is closing their eyes. There are people here in America that have more than one wife. Muslims. They don't want to mess with them. They don't want riots. They don't want violence. Okay, let it go. So one way or the other, Rabbeinu Gershom felt that it will increase the anti-Semitism and will create riots and pogroms. So he made a decree, No one is allowed to marry more than one woman. But in the Arab countries, Muslims were married more than one, so Jews also were allowed. So Jews in Yemen, in Morocco, in other countries, they were married more than one woman. There is any place in the world that one day these laws stop? No. It's still in effect. According to the Torah, it's still in effect. But no one will do it. At least not on the open. No one will do such thing. You know anyone? You ever heard anyone say, oh, I marry more than one? Actually, I one time went to Las Vegas. I'll never forget that. I have a Shabbaton. They drive me to the parking lot of the big shul. One guy showed up with two women walking with him. Hi, Rabbi. Welcome to our town. I know you hate this town, but I'm glad you came. Please meet my wife. One go. Please meet my second wife. They both live with him. He's married to two women. Both of them are converts. He married to two converts, and they're happy living with him. Can you say he violated the rules of the Torah? Could be Chilul Hashem, could be, you can find what to blame him for. You get the point? The point is now, you take Christina, you tell her, we want you to be a slave for a week. We'll pay you very nicely for it, don't worry. You're going to make a big compensation. We will make you officially a shifcha canaanit. We will release you the next day. You won't even have to clean one room. Don't worry. Don't get nervous. Even though you work maybe in a restaurant and you clean all day, don't worry. We're not taking you to clean anything. We just want you to agree to become shifcha canaanit. She said, okay. What do I have to do? Just say that you want to be the slave of this guy, Itzik. Okay, I do. Itzik, release her now. You let her clean 5-6 minutes. That will be official. Then he releases her. Once he releases her, you take another mamzer, let's call him John. John, come marry her. But when you make her shifcha, you have to convert her, of course. You do the conversion like they did in shifcha canaani. Once you release her, she's a regular Jew. So two things she has to agree: to be a slave for one day, and to be a slave for one day, and to agree to be Jewish, because that's it. After that, she has to keep Shabbat, she has to keep mitzvot. You can't do it if you know she's not going to be religious. So you can technically do it with all these thousands of women that are waiting now online to convert to Judaism. Technically. So let's say there is a nice, handsome, smart, very, very big Talmid Chacham mamzer, Jew. That is mamzer. What is it? It's his fault. His mother cheated. But he is learning. He cannot find a good shidduch. Don't worry, like this girl, she wants to convert. Oh, yeah, she's beautiful, she's so righteous. Okay, we will legalize you and your children will all be kosher. We'll make her a slave for one day, even though she did nothing. That conversion, after the master will release her right away, and she's a kosher Jew now. And if you marry her, your children are all legit. She's happy. He is happy, both of them are in love, and you cut the genealogy of mamzerim. Now go find rabbis that will agree to sign on this halakha, and good luck with that. What I spoke about now, it's all hypothetically speaking. Question is, what's the biggest rabbis in the world will think about this idea? Will they agree? Because sometimes in life you have things that you don't consider. Even though legally it's allowed from the Torah, but there is other reasons that the Chachamim would say not to do it. Not that it's a violation of the Torah, no. I'll give you an example. About 10, 15 years ago, מראיתיים, עובדן דחול, יש כל מיני terms כאלה that it's, okay, doesn't look good. Like they say in English, it's kosher, but it stink. It smells. This fish is kosher? Very kosher, but smell it. Anyway, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, there was one guy from New York who invented a kosher switch. Kosher switch for Shabbat. That people can turn the lights on and anything they want to turn on with that switch, that they will be allowed to do it on Shabbat. What was the concept of this kosher switch? When you press the button, nothing happened. You just move a piece of plastic. If I press a button, right, this is stand right here. There's pulse. There is a device, and this switch sending constantly pulses every few seconds. Every 10 seconds, it sends a pulse automatically, without me touching it. The problem with that pulse is that there is a piece of plastic blocking it. It doesn't get to its destination. When you touch now the device, you touch it, you move the piece of plastic, but not right away. If it's right away, it's still not allowed, right? Because it's plastic resha. You know right away that it's going to turn. Even though it's grama, but it's still not allowed. He doesn't move right away. You just touch a button, nothing right now is happening. The computer has some kind of a scrambler. The computer pick up a random number. One time 17 seconds, one time 12 seconds, one time 5 seconds. Every time someone press it, the computer decide when to move that plastic. One time I would move it now, next time I will move it in 15 seconds. So there is no guarantee that it will move right away from my action. It may happen 10, 15 seconds later. Who decide? Not me. The computer decide. Plus, I do not touch any electric. I only move a piece of plastic. What's wrong here? Nothing. He went to very big rabbis, and they started to give him letters of endorsement. It's kosher, even videos they made. One rabbi from Queens, one rabbi from Long Island, one rabbi from other places. He even came to me. I checked what he showed. Halachically, I don't see a problem here. Tough. After he got few nice endorsements and videos, he started to produce. Some people put it in their homes. Imagine this. Don't need a timer anymore. People press a button, they turn the light on and off. All of a sudden, one very big rabbi, in the meantime he passed, spoke against it. What are you doing? It's not allowed. It's this, it's that. Gave a very bad speech about it. Immediately, all the rabbis that gave endorsement to it got so scared, they pulled it out. I personally didn't like the way they did it. As one way to come and say, according to my understanding, it was kosher, it's kosher, I don't see anything wrong with that, but a very big posek said otherwise. So I canceled my opinion to the big rabbi's opinion, and I'm nothing, who am I? Once he said what he said, I cancel my endorsement. That's a kosher way to back up. I didn't like the way they did it. The way they did it, they threw the guy under the bus. He didn't tell us all the story. We didn't understand. We didn't know exactly. They made him like a crook, and it wasn't the case. I'm a witness. He showed me everything, showed me how it works, showed me the device, showed me the papers, showed me how exactly what happened when you pray, everything. He showed everything. And based on the way he showed, you saw right away that it's permitted. Why the big rabbi went against it? I have only one guess. Halachically, it's perfectly kosher. What was he worried about? That it will destroy the special holiness of Shabbat. Because remember, now people would see religious people turning lights on and off, tick, tack, tick, elevators, that. I mean, it will look like a weekday. Then what will happen later? No one will remember one day that it's forbidden to turn the lights on Shabbat. So people will eat also regular switches. He saw probably the entire picture, which others didn't see. This Permitted, yes. Halachically, you cannot say it's not allowed. But there's other reason. It could be psychological reason, like you say, marit ayin. It will make a lot of people then later on turn regular lights on. It's already going to become a way of life. So that idea went down the drain and it's over. I just want to remind you, in case you don't know, when Shabbos timer came out, the world was shocked. First idea that you set up timer before Shabbat and it will turn the lights on and off on the time you choose. Do you know how many big rabbis were against it? Among them, the biggest posek in America, Rav Moshe Feinstein. He was very much against it. According to Rav Moshe, Shabbos timer is not allowed. But now, one house in the world that doesn't have shaon Shabbat. The biggest rabbis in the world have shaon Shabbat in their homes. But sometimes the shock of a drastic change, it's so severe that it takes people time to digest what just happened. It takes time to digest. I said it to my student many years in yeshiva, that there is one halacha the chachamim, the rabbis, the sages made that saved Judaism. They wouldn't make that halacha, we would not be here as Jews today. That would be the end of us. Thanks to Chazal, Judaism was actually saved. Who knows which halacha? Chachamim made decrees. One decree they made that without that we would lose everything. That decree saved us. Who knows what? Isur amira legoy. You are not allowed to give instructions to goyim to do melacha for you on Shabbat. Chris, turn the lights on for me. Sandra, make me coffee. Heat up water. Word here. Sew this. Write this. Go to a goy, yeah. But, it's very hard to find two goyim. Hey, Chris, tell Ahmed to do this. It's a little bit very complicated. But to tell goyim was a common way. Many goyim walk by Jews. Why did it save Judaism? Technically, from the Torah, there's no problem that the goy does things for you. The goy made you coffee. No. The goy just sewed something for you on Shabbat. The goy just wrote something. The goy, I need to write a check to the gardener. He's here at the door. Hey, Chris, come. Make a check, pay it to the gardener on Shabbat. The goy does it. The cleaning lady, she does it. Why the Chachamim forbid that? They already saw what would happen in 2 generations. Now imagine how many greedy people you have in the world. You agree that at least half of the people are greedy? They're money hungry? Okay, so, you have, 1 million Jews in the world, half of them are greedy, okay? So now, they have businesses. They have to close on Shabbat. Why closing? Chris, you are my Shabbos goy. We go together to the business. You bring the car. You drive me to the store. You open the door for me. You turn the lights on. You open the gate. You eliminate the alarm. And now, whatever I tell you, you do. Customer come, what do you want? I want this suit. Check it out. Here, ring, $250. This, the shoes, $200. The goy does everything. The Jew sit over there on Shabbat and give instructions to his goyim. Do this, turn the lights on, this, check this, call the thing, call that, order new ones. Right or wrong? But you know what would happen? The one time that Chris went to the bathroom, or Ahmed, and the customer with 5 suits waiting by the register, what do you think would happen? Ahmed, where are you? In an important place. Come out, there's a customer here. I'm sorry. My stomach. Yalla, enjoy. 2-3 generations, no one will know about Shabbat bichlal. Even now, you won't feel anything in Shabbat. They drive, they take you places, you go shopping, the goy does for you, do this, do that, do that. Shabbat will be a regular working day. No one would stay home. People would want to make money. Today it's a million times worse with all the stupid games and the picnics and places that are not kosher to begin with. What do we do for Shabbat? We go to the mall. What? We take the goy is going to buy for us. We buy this, the sales. What kind of a Shabbat is going to be? After 2-3 generations, Shabbat is over, Judaism is over. You get the point or no? So you see, here's a perfect example. To tell the goy to do something, the Torah never forbid that. According to the Torah, did I do anything wrong? No. The Chachamim made that decree. Without that decree, it will be the end of us. So let me ask you this. The Chachamim that made this decree, who nominated them to make this decree? If Hashem did not forbid that in the Torah, who are you to decide what's allowed, what's not allowed? Oh, so the Torah actually have the answer to this. Whatever the Chachamim say, of every generation and generation, you must listen to them. Do not move left or right from their instruction. Someone who will not obey the scholars of his generation, Chachamim, the sages, what punishment you will have to give him? Who remember what's written in parshat Shoftim, parshat Judges, parshat Shoftim, Deuteronomy? No? What's the end in the bottom of the page? And someone who will not obey the Chachamim should be put to death. Uvi'ar ta'ara mikirbecha. Clean him from among your nation. Doesn't deserve to live. Here you go. Who gave the Chachamim the authority to make rules? Hashem. And there's another place it's written, V'asu mishmeret lemishmarti. Make a fence around my fence. Sometimes my fence won't be high enough. I needed to make a higher fence around it. Depend on the need. I'll give you a perfect example. 300 years after we got the Torah, Jews were very, very holy, modest people. You never had a case that a Jewish single man will dare to talk to a Jewish single girl directly. People were very modest. If there is now, for the sake of marriage, they date. But other than that, nobody talks to girls. She's not my wife. How can I talk to her? Okay. After 300 years, people level started to go down. How are you, girl? How are you? How are you, guy? How was your learning? How's yeshiva? When you coming back home? How are your parents doing? Oh, one thing leads to another. The יצר הרע begin. לפתח חטאת רובץ. You open a little window, right away the Satan penetrates. That's how it goes. So what happened? David HaMelech and his Beit Din, King David was the head of the Beit Din. He saw that this problem begins. He made a decree. What's the decree? A man and a woman cannot isolate themselves in a closed place. Locked, shades on the windows, no access to other people to enter the room. It's called Isur Yichud. Yichud when you mityached together with a girl in an isolated place. If you do it in a room that any second people can enter the door is not locked, you are afraid to do something wrong. Any second someone in the office is opening the door. If you do it in a store and people walk by the street and all the windows are open and there's no blinds, you're also afraid. Basically, any place that someone can surprise you any second, that's no yichud. However, if you lock yourself in a place that nobody can come in, it's locked, or the shades are down, or stuff like that, so something like that, it's forbidden. Who made it forbidden? King David, not the Torah. Why King David made it forbidden? Because he started to see what about to happen. Before boys and girls going to start having forbidden relationship, the Torah told me and the rabbis that will come after me in every generation to watch, to be the guards, to make a fence around the fence. And therefore, you see, I give you another example. On Shabbat, you're not allowed to prepare medicine. Today, nobody prepare medicine. You just go to the pharmacy and buy a bottle. But in the old days, they used to make the medicine naturally. Take leaves, take this, take water, heat it up, mix it, put garlic, grind things. While making medicine, you can break the laws of Shabbat 5-6 times just to prepare one-time medicine. One time. Shchichat samemanim, it's called. So it's not allowed to prepare medicine on Shabbat. It's not allowed to take medicine on Shabbat. The Torah didn't say you're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbat. The Torah says you're not allowed to grind on Shabbat. You're not allowed to heat, to boil water on Shabbat. You're not allowed to paint or to dye something on Shabbat. But the Torah didn't say you're not allowed to take medicine on Shabbat. The Chachamim made that decree. Medicine is forbidden. Why? If you will allow medicine, thousands of people every Shabbat will have headache, fever, problem. They run right away to make medicine. A woman see a child suffer. Immediately she grind the leaves, do this, whatever. She'll break Shabbat. It's a death penalty. It's no joke. So medicine are forbidden. However, medicine that you take daily, like vitamins or antibiotic, it is permitted. Why? What's the difference? You don't prepare it on Shabbat. You already prepared it in advance. Medicine that they used to have a jar that they make for a month, for 2 months, it's no problem. You take it every day. The chance that you will run out of it exactly on Shabbat is not so high. Something that is rare, you need to prepare fresh, it's not allowed. Today, it's really no difference. So why we don't change it today? Nobody prepare medicine today. The nature changed. Allowed to take medicine. Technically, it should have been allowed. Why we do not overrule this verdict of the Chachamim? Because we cannot afford to become like the reform people that started to change minor things in the beginning over 200 years ago, and then more and more and more, and today they are less Jewish than the goyim. You take a reformed Jew, there's nothing Jewish about him. Nothing. Now one little thing is Jewish about him. Nothing. Many of them are gays. Many of them are officially goyim. The Reform married 200 years already with non-Jews. They mix non-stop with non-Jews. You don't even know if they're Jewish or not. You must assume everyone who tells you I'm a Reformed Jew, you have to look at him as 100% a Gentile. 100%. You cannot give him aliyah, you cannot marry him, you cannot count on him. How they became like that? How? They started to change little things. That's not relevant. The next generation, my father say that this is not relevant. I say this is not relevant. That's not relevant. That's not relevant until they marry men with men, marry Jews with goyim, eating pork on Yom Kippur, playing piano in Yom Kippur, singing non-Jewish songs, driving on Shabbat, eating shrimps, eating cheeseburger, and doing horrible other things. What is Jewish about them? Zero, nothing. Nothing whatsoever. How did it start? By minor changes. That's how people are. You know, in Hebrew there is a say, נותנים לו אצבע, רוצה את כל היד. You give him a little finger, he wants the entire hand. Once you surrender a little bit by 1%, you can kiss goodbye the other 99%. If you're not sure, look at the Palestinians. They'll give you a good example. The more you surrender to them, the more hungry they become. So, this, by the way, was only an introduction to the lecture. I was just explaining the question from yesterday. And it took over an hour. Now it's time to start tonight's lecture. Any questions so far? I concluded everything. Benji, did I leave anything open? Don't make me drive home now at 1 a.m. and in the middle on the road to remember, I didn't answer that question. I wish I can go back to Brooklyn and answer it. And yes, that's why it says that before a person dies, he should forgive the people that owe him money for his own good, not for them. No, I want revenge. 30 years I waited for the money, play games with me. Why should I forgive him? Not for him, you fool. You want to come back in reincarnation to receive it? You're one step from heaven. You're one step from heaven. The Rambam is waiting for you and Rashi. Come. Welcome. No, I got to collect $30. Reuven owe me $30. Do you get the point or no? By the way, if you're already in a mood of asking question, let me ask you a question. Why we punish an illegitimate child for his mother's crime? Where is the justice of Hashem? A woman cheated on her husband. She is a criminal. Why the baby that is born have restrictions against him? Punish the mother, which the Torah does punish the mother. Death penalty to the mother and to the noef. But why the child is illegitimate? Why Hashem did such thing? Leave the child alone. The child is fine, is normal. Go against the real criminal, the noef and the noefet. Good question, no? You know what you sound like? I'll tell you what you sound like. Why Israel did not flood the tunnels, you know? I spoke to a few ministers in the Knesset. Told them, why are you not flooding? You already started with the flood. You prepared everything. Flood the tunnels. We have information from Arab prisoners that they keep moving the Jewish hostages in those tunnels as security. They know we're about to do it. They're not that dumb. So they spread the Jews in every tunnel that if we flood it for sure, we'll kill our own brothers. So it's the same thing here. You say, we want the woman not to dare to violate a crime by punishing someone else. That's what the Arabs do. They put people, other innocent people, they covered behind them, and we say, well, there's nothing we can do to them. Why? Somebody else will be punished. I'm asking why. Here it's not Arabs, here is Hashem's word. Hashem said the boy will suffer all his life. I want to get married. Well, we're very sorry for you. We also want you to get married. But you cannot get married. You need a mamzer-let. What are the odds you're going to find a mamzer-let? By the way, you should know there are many people in the world that are mamzerim, but nobody knows about it. What happened with them? Hashem kills them young. Car accident, age 16, 17, overdose, all kinds of things like that. They die young. Why Hashem killed them young? Because nobody knows the mamzerim. Therefore, no one can stop them from marry others and bring more mamzerim to the world. But if people know he's mamzer, we can live long life, no problem. People already know who he is, that's it. Allah has said what to do with him. So, what does it mean mamzer? It means mamzer vadai, the Gemara say. Not possibly mamzer. Possibly mamzer is nothing. You don't have a proof. What do you mean I don't have a proof? I saw a married woman going into a hotel room with a man that is not her husband in the middle of the day. What did she go there? To watch TV? You cannot assume anything. Worse, her husband come and say, I barely touch her. We don't have such good relationship. All of a sudden, she's pregnant. Chance that it's for me, the husband say, it's very, very small. The entire year I was with her maybe once or twice. Probably someone else. It's not a proof. רוב בעילות אחר בעל, the Gemara say. When a married woman is pregnant, we must assume it's from her husband. So when are you going to be able to determine for sure that this baby is mamzer? The answer is almost never. Almost never. Even domelo, it's not a proof. Almost never. The only way you can prove it, if it's done fast, today there's no death penalty, so no one can kill him or her. So they say, we cheated. So why it's not charging?
I don't know why.
You don't know why.
I don't know.
You don't know why.
And there's
No, it's not the camera, it's his phone. We got him a brand new phone from LA. Yonah the Tzaddik. Got a special